keeping with singles, because I got it like that. One of the things I was always curious because Idlers didn't become a huge rap label, ended up getting with Warlock for distribution, of course. But how and why did Idlers Warlock end up being a place that you guys ended up with?
So Tony G actually was the owner of Idler's Records. So we recorded there. We probably got through about half the album, and it was convenient. So I almost wanted to say it was convenient. You know what I mean? We had a good working relationship. Um, he presented some things that, I mean, because we were still very new to the industry and everything. He presented some options for us, and just made it comfortable to do what we had to do. It wasn't the greatest contract at the time. We had a good start, funky ending. Eventually, Warlock took a hold of Idlers, but then not too long after that, we left Idlers, left Warlock, and went to Warner Brothers. So jumped out of one hot pan into a hot pot, to say the least.
Yeah,
But yeah, it was just really, it was like Islas was the label. Things were moving fast. They needed more push. He already had a relationship with Warlock. They signed. They got on board to help push the record, which in turn helped us really get overseas. Warlock in turn. Got the call, I want to say, from G Street in England. That's what really gave us that whole European push. Starting with the UK. G Street really helped us out a lot. They gave us the first videos. Our house shoot straight out the jungle. They jumped behind that big time. Um,
well, that makes sense then later with Raw Deluxe, because I was always going to wonder about that transition, but we'll get to that later
okay,
on.
okay, okay, okay.
But the thing too is, as you're getting into this, I was always intrigued because with Red Alert Productions, with Tribe, Boogie Down Productions, etc., Red Alert was also like mixing with you guys and doing a lot in the studio. So how did his knowledge from the radio, knowledge from other stuff he had already done in the studio really uh accentuate or bring out better to what you in Africa were doing?
Well, Red's expertise is really knowing the pulse of the people as they listening to music, especially like the mixing. So Red's biggest influence or touch is being able to listen to the album from beginning to end, and even listening to a song from beginning to end, the mix. His ear for that is impeccable. The different records, the different samples we were using, it was crazy. I grew up under Red. I didn't. I won't say I wasn't a big record fan, but when Bam got to the house, he was like, "Yo, all these records." So he would stay up late nights digging, along with records that he got from his dad. But when he got to our crib, he was like all in, and he would pull out certain records. He would talk with Red and be like, "Oh, this record, this record, that." You know what I'm saying? And Bam, Red would kind of educate him on a certain records and samples that we might have been using and saying, "Oh, this has a particular sound. You know, this sound is from here. This sound is from there." But really, to me, Red's magic was when we were doing the mixing of each song, and then overall the album, making sure everything flowed, the story, the theme of the album stayed kind of really consistent for a really good listen. I think that was impeccable. And then also just watching, going through the industry adventure. You know what I'm saying? Obviously, hip hop was still young to a certain extent. The whole club vibe. We were still doing clubs and stuff like that, and traveling, which we hadn't done. Red had the experience of being on the road along with KRS-One with Bam and all these guys. So in a other than his mixing, helping us mix the record and mixing certain songs, his demeanor really helped keep us grounded, through the Straight Out the Jungle album, onto Done by the Forces of Nature, that experience. And even up until now, there's certain things that I either ask Red about or talk to him, because he's still my uncle. He's like a big brother to me. So I still talk and ask him questions, and we bounce things off of each other, you know what I'm saying? So,
Well, that's a huge benefit that you had. So yeah, and
oh
with
yeah.
the on because I got it like that with the singles too. I remember you were like cool young brother that looks kind of old. So I was like always like that was a very peculiar rhyme. Like, do you remember what did like people say you look old back then a lot?
Yeah, I mean, I was one of the few cats who still like had a mustache and a beard growing at the time. So cats used to always, cats used to always poke at me about it. So, when I was writing a rhyme, it just came out. You know what I mean?
Well, I would
So,
have figured that would have helped. That would have helped actually with the ladies and
oh
things.
yeah, no doubt, no doubt. I definitely went after the older clientele, but I just
Well,
put it out there because it was something that kind of separated me from everybody to a certain extent.
Well, I remember to your point on my Jimmy Weighs a Ton, you were talking about you were 16, the girl's 23. I was like, man, Mike G's pulling them. Okay. Yes, I remember that.
No doubt, no doubt.
Now with how and why did you guys pick the Jungle Brothers name?
We were going through names. Yes, this is a classic story. I see it like it was yesterday. So it was me and Af on the phone. At the time, I was living in Left Rack with my dad. My mom had passed away, so I was staying with my dad for some time. I was living in Left Rack City, and Bam was in Bay Ridge. We were on the phone trying to think about different names because at one point our original name was like Bug Out Posse, something like that. You know what I'm saying? So we were just trying to think of something, a name that would have longevity, strength, you know, keep the funk, and it was like an all out brawl outside my window. I would lived on like the 13th floor or something. Shout out to my man Phil Pabone. I lived on like the 13th floor, and I looked out the window, and it was just like a brawl out there. It was like two gangs going at it, and I told Pam, I was like, "Yo, it's like a jungle out here. Yo, they fighting, they going crazy." Then like the light bulb went off in both of our heads, just like, "Oh, jungle." It's like, "Oh, that's dope." It's like, yo, Jungle Posse, nah, Jungle Crew, Jungle Brothers, and that's where it was born.
Wow.
Yeah,
That's a wild story. Hmm.
yeah.
Okay. And then get into the album itself, Straight Out the Jungle. I always remember too so many things about this. First of all, this album came out before Straight Outta Compton. So I was wondering, did you guys ever see them and ask them like, yo, did you get this from us? Or did you ever think of how or why you guys had that idea and maybe that influenced indirectly NWA at all, or no?
Nah, we actually never really crossed paths early on.
Okay.
Um, not and to be honest, not till we got with well, when we were being I don't want to say groomed, but we were making our way towards Warner Brothers. We got to the West Coast, got to LA, and it never it never came. I mean, p- people never really asked me directly about it, so I can't say. People probably talked about it, but it was
Okay.
like whatever. I mean, it's straight out of is like it's common to a certain extent. You know what I'm saying? So
Yeah, but I think Straight Outta Compton made it a lot more common. is
Oh
what I'm
yeah,
saying.
without question, without question. But
So no, I was just curious. Well,
it's all still the jungle. Call it Compton, call it Brooklyn, call it whatever. You know what I'm saying? Still straight out the jungle.
that's for sure, unfortunately. Uh, Also on Straight Out the Jungle, one of the more powerful rhymes I remember, which I thought was very intriguing, was how you're talking about no gold around my neck, just black medallions. Because in this time in '88, as you're well aware, a lot of the best, most revered rappers wore gold,
Mm-hmm.
and were very, even in their rhymes, were not materialistic, but they wore gold, maybe fashion, maybe they liked it. Rakim obviously comes to mind, Slick Rick, many
Mm-hmm.
others. But what was it about you in Straight Out the Jungle that made you want to say that, given the fact that all these immensely respected dudes were wearing so much gold?
I just wanted to just stand out. I mean, it wasn't. I didn't. I felt like first off, I didn't feel like I needed gold to be attractive or uh, catch somebody's eye. It wasn't. It just wasn't. It just wasn't me. You know what I'm saying? I had. I guess I had that stage early on in life, but I want to say around straight out the jungle, I really started to find consciousness of myself and the culture and my people, and it's not something that I needed to be noticed or just or to like be titled as yo that's that dude because he's got the gold chains. You know what I'm saying? Oh man, look at his gold chains. No, I don't need that. It's the black medallions. You know, it's the home
Right.
of the champions. You know what I'm saying? Home of the kings. It's enough.
Well, you definitely guys proved that.